Hey guys, welcome to episode number 12 of the Athletes in Adversity podcast. Today we're going to be talking about baseball curses. Are they hoax or are they real? We're going to be breaking down some of the top ones here today. So with that, make sure to go follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, all at Athletes in Adversity, as well as my Twitter at AthletesPod. Also, go support the show for as little as 99 cents a month right on Anchor.fm. Or if you want to be more generous, go pledge up to $50 a month on my Patreon, Athletes in Adversity. So with that, let's get today's show started. So let's start with the curse of the Black Sox. The curse of the Black Sox was the reason that the Chicago White Sox didn't win a World Series title from 1919 to 2005, when the curse was said to have been broken. The curse of the Black Sox happened in 1919. There was a Black Sox scandal in which many of their star players were suspended at an important time in the season. It was actually late in the season, around 3 games left in the season to be exact. The suspension then became permanent, and the White Sox dropped from second place in 1920 to 7th place in 1921. The curse was said to be broken in 2005 when the White Sox finally won the World Series. Now, let's talk about the California curse from 1965 to 1997. The California curse was said to have begun in 1965 when the Los Angeles Angels changed their name to the California Angels. It is said to have lasted until 1997 when the Angels changed their name back to the Anaheim Angels. In that time period, a number of tragic things happened, and it wasn't about the Angels losing, more like losing their lives. In fact, first year of the supposed curse, a rookie pitcher, Dick Weitz, died of a brain tumor. His death came just 1 month after his only Major League Baseball start and game. Another strange death occurred too, including outfielder Lyman Bostick being shot and killed in 1978. Pitcher Donnie Moore shot his wife and committed suicide in 1989. Now, I did not know that fact. In 1992, just 1 month after their coach Ron Johnson died from cancer, the team bus crashed and injured several players, and the list actually goes on and on. And since 1997, when the Angels changed their name back to the Anaheim Angels, there haven't been any devastating losses or deaths. Creepy, huh? That has to be one of the most creepiest things I've heard all day. I did not know about this curse until I actually started reading up on it on BleacherReport.com, actually in the article that I'm using today. It's so interesting about these baseball curses, and it's so interesting about learning about new curses that I didn't even know about. But in my opinion, that's probably one of the creepiest ones on this list. Now let's talk about the curse of Coogan's Bluff. The curse of Coogan's Bluff is one that supposedly plagues the San Francisco Giants. Since they made the move to California from New York, the Giants haven't won a World Series. Fans at the New York ballpark supposedly claim the Giants would never win a World Series away from New York, and they haven't. But that all changed when they finally went on a run in the late 2000s, and they won 3 championships, becoming a dynasty. And of course, that curse was finally broken. I actually remember watching these games of the San Francisco Giants in the playoffs around 2000. I think 2010 they won. I'm pretty sure it was 2010 and 2012, and then 2015 they won. Those were the 3 championships they won. I know they won 3 in 5 years. Anyways, yeah, that's a pretty interesting one on the list. Nothing really creepy about it like the last one, but honestly, it's just a pretty interesting curse, and of course, they finally broke it. Now, let's talk about another curse on this list. It's, of course, the curse of the Billy Goat. Now, how many people have heard of this one? The curse of the Billy Goat is what fans use to explain the Chicago Cubs not winning the World Series title from 1908 to 2016. 108 years this curse went on. As the curse goes, the owner of the Billy Goat Tavern, Billy Sinus, was asked to leave a game at Wrigley Field, the home of the Chicago Cubs, of course, because his pet goat's smell was bothering other fans. Sinus was so mad that he supposedly shouted, "Them Cubs, they ain't gonna win no more." And there have been many attempts to break the curse, but a lot of them haven't been successful until 2016, when the Chicago Cubs finally won the World Series after 108 years. This is one of my favorite curses to talk about of all time, because it also has to do with an event that happened in 2003, where the Cubs were 3 outs away from winning the world. Going to the world. I think they were maybe not 3, but I think it was in the 7th inning, and they were close. They were that close to winning the World Series. Not winning the pennant. I keep saying win the World Series. Winning the pennant. They were that close. And guess who touched the ball? None other than Steve Bartman. And Steve Bartman, he was a fan of the Chicago Cubs in 2003. And he leaned over to try to catch a foul ball. And the play was called dead. It was called foul. It wasn't called an out. And ever since then, he was like the scapegoat that the Cubs fans used. They never wanted to see him. They hated his guts. He got drinks thrown at him, pizza thrown at him. There's a lot of good videos on YouTube about it. And I highly recommend you guys go check out the Steve Bartman incident on YouTube. It's very interesting to watch. There's also a 30 for 30 documentary on him as well. He was never seen again, and he's completely changed his life since then. He wants no part of the Chicago Cubs. He wants no part of anything. Even though they won the World Series, he doesn't want to be seen. And that's just his opinion, I guess. He doesn't want anything to do with the Cubs anymore because of what happened in 2003. And that's pretty understandable. Now, the last curse on my list is none other than the curse of the Bambino from 1918 to 2004. The curse of the Bambino was supposedly the reason for the Red Sox not winning a World Series title in 86 years. The curse was said to have begun in 1918, when during the offseason the Red Sox sold Babe Ruth for $100,000 to the New York Yankees. Now, it is called the curse of the Bambino because his nickname, Babe Ruth's nickname, was the Bambino. Before that, the Red Sox had been one of the most successful clubs ever. They actually won the first ever World Series title, but back then they were called the Boston Americans. After the trade, the Yankees went on to win 26 world titles in the Red Sox 86-year drought. After many crazy attempts to get rid of the curse, including hiring professional exorcists to purify Fenway Park, the home of the Boston Red Sox, the curse was finally broken in 2004 when the Red Sox swept the St. Louis Cardinals in the World Series that year. And honestly, that has to be, because I've lived in Boston my whole life, and that has to be one of my favorite Boston sports moments of all time. When the Red Sox won the World Series in 2004, breaking the curse, that the 86-year drought, it was just a great, great memory of mine. And I will always remember watching that game, and it was just crazy. I was only 4 years old, and I still remember vividly watching that moment.